I remember you had a video about Saudi Arabia,
Which one?
and the one where you basically lowered your gaze and you said that it made you more masculine. So
What I said was in Saudi Arabia, you don't see women at all. Well, back then, I don't know what the situation is now. I know it's changed a bit, but back in 2013, when I was there, you don't see women, right? You barely see an ankle for crying out loud. So when I came back to the UK and I saw my wife, like my arousal levels were much lower or higher. Which one is it? You are much more easily aroused. Whereas once you spend
exactly,
time back in the UK again, you see all the fitna everywhere, nakedness, and then you become a bit numb to it, you know. Whereas in
yeah,
Saudi, because you couldn't see anything, it's like your wife is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life, even if she's a whale, bruv. It's because it's the only
yeah,
female that you're seeing. Do you understand?
exactly. And like what I was going to say is that this is a testosterone is a blessing, and if a lot of men are having trouble like finding a righteous wife, what they need to realize is that like it's okay to use this energy in other ways. Like there is sexual transmutation, and lowering your gaze actually will make this even more powerful. So,
Mm,
so these men who are maybe shorter, like they can use this. Like it's not all black or white. Like if you've been dealt some worse genetics, you can still use this gift, like the sexual energy. You don't have to be angry that you're single or that you can't find a righteous wife. You can instead like see it as a gift because you have more time, you have less drama, and you have more energy. But if you're sad about it, then it's only going to be a loss. But if you use it and if you lower your gaze, like I have no doubt that Allah will bring out of it good things. So that was like all I had to say.
barakallah fik, and I agree with you. Thank you very much, MD, and I appreciate you coming on, Habibi. Ali Chabar, COK3, please just match this. People on top should be able to donate $25. I don't know what's going on in the chat right now. All I see is some fights, some firefights breaking out. But you are welcome to match that $25 super chat. I appreciate it, my man Ali. Jazakallah khairan. And the brother's absolutely right. And again, just for those of you who maybe haven't heard the story before, obviously I was born and raised in the UK, right? Spent all my life pretty much in the UK. Then I spent 1 year teaching in Saudi Arabia. And when I was there, I know the situation has changed somewhat now, but when I was there, I was living in Medina, but even in Riyadh, it was pretty much the same, to be honest. You just don't see women. Everyone's wearing niqab back then. Okay, everyone's wearing niqab and abaya, and it's all black as well for the most part. There's none of this like funky designs and all that back then. I'm talking about, yeah, I don't know about now. So I didn't realize it in the moment then, but when I left the country, so I got my flight back to the UK. I had a transit in Egypt. I remember vividly. Once I got into the airport in Egypt, there was a big poster on the wall. I still remember what type of poster it was. It was a perfume poster and a picture of a woman modeling this perfume. And I will never forget the impact that poster had on me. Like the way that I noticed the woman is not the way that I noticed women on posters normally. I didn't realize what was going on in that moment, but I was like, why is this such a problem for me? I see this all the time. Obviously, I hadn't because I was living in Saudi, but I'm like, I've seen this stuff all my life. Why is this really sticking out to me right now? And it was only on hindsight I realized why, because my eyes had been starved of women, females, literally starved. There was no women to look at, bruv. Nothing. It's all black. It's black wherever you go, in the mall, in the masjid, wherever you go, on the road. The reason why I said mall and masjid is because there's not really much else to do in Saudi, especially in the summertime. You don't. There's no walking on the street. It's way too hot for that. Nobody walks on the street. Let's go for a walk. No, it doesn't exist. Let's get in the car, the air-conditioned car, and go to the air-conditioned mall so we can go and watch a movie in the No, there was no cinemas back then. What am I talking about? Do you understand? There was none of this going out. So you just didn't see women. And that's from the ni'mah and the blessing of lowering your gaze. You can kind of artificially recreate that for yourself if you live in the West by lowering your gaze. It's not the same because you are going to see stuff just by chance. You are going to see it, but it helps tremendously when you lower your gaze, when you don't see other women. And like I said, but honestly, your wife can be a whale. Big man thing. I'm not telling you sisters to be whales. Yeah, shame on you whales out there. You whale women shouldn't be a whale, but it is a blessing when you lower your gaze or you live in a country where you don't see women. You can kind of get away with being a whale a bit more than you can here in the West. There's too much competition here. You just can't afford to be a whale in the West. That's a good one. You can't afford to be a whale in the West.
So if you like that clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.